I'm Tim Kittro, and here to bring home the bacon are Big Ryan the Fat Guy.
Hey YouTube world, it's yours truly coming at you with the NFL Week 16 picks against the spread for the 2020 NFL season. Fat Guy, we are 114, 107, and 3 for the season. Good for 51.6% this year, 52.5% career-wise on YouTube, but who gives two craps? On to the Friday game. Minnesota Vikings at New Orleans Saints. Saints are 7-point favorites at home. 70% of early bettors on the Saints. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious here where we're going to be leaning. 7 points. It's a nice number. Nice round number. I'll be putting money. Already have. This is a little bit of a late show. You're going to have to excuse. There are some power and internet difficulties, both with the Fat Guy and less so with the Big Rye. But we're only a few hours late. We'll figure it out. We're going to have to roll with this. So, like I said, 7's a nice number. Minnesota Vikings seems to be the play, all things considered. Not that many people betting on the Vikings. Looks like a 7-3 split at the moment. New Orleans, I don't think they lost too much face losing to the Chiefs. That's fine, but keeping competitive. They were able to cover. Some of the big players in the game, I believe, got a middle down, i.e. Chiefs -2.5. Saints +4. Of course, adding the 4 frequency, push frequency to make a win and a tie, in addition to a double win on a 3-point finish, which is what it was. I was able to get down early on the Saints, and we got the victory. We got the dub, as they say, in regards to the spread. Now the Vikings, not so good of a performance, although almost a comeback, it feels like, against the Bears. 7 points, I just feel, is too many. This game, you could argue you could use the result from last year if you wanted to, but I hate using results-based ones. It was a different team. It was a different time. But there were some corollaries. I mean, I still don't think that, it's a sample of one as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Cincinnati's better than Pittsburgh, despite winning last night. It just was just a game, right? But 7, I think, is just too many here. I really think this is I'm going to say a 6 game. 6 is about right for me, and that's what the computer says. So I like 6. So that means the number is 7, and my number is 6. That means I'm going to take the Vikings. If I get 7.5, I'd be a happy duck. But 7 for now. Minnesota Vikings, book it.
And then on to the Saturday games. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions, who are 9.5-point underdogs at home. 41% of early bettors are on the Lions. This line is even moved up to 10, Fat Guy. So what do you think about it at 9.5? What do you think about it at 10?
I'm not a big fan of it either way. I mean, when in doubt, take the points. And I'm in doubt, so I'm going to be taking the points. But realistically, we have a little bit of a quarterback issue here in Detroit, considering the uncertainty of Matthew Stafford and perhaps the cuter than Chase Daniels appearance this Saturday. Say it like that. So Detroit Lions, it's going to be a pure contest pick for me. And you know me, when in doubt, take the points. Could Tampa Bay blow out Detroit? Absolutely. Not saying they could. Not at all. But let's do a little comparison here. Who's more likely to blow out teams, Tampa Bay or Tennessee? I'm starting to lean Tennessee, and I know I'm doing a little mental gymnastics and I'm using one sample, but however the market was, what was it? Tennessee +7 or -7.5 last week, Big Rye?
Something like that.
Yeah, it ended up closing at like 12, but I think it opened at that. Maybe that was a look-ahead line. But I still feel like this is a better spot. It was a better spot for Tennessee than it was Tampa Bay. So if I were wagering my hard-earned dollars on a side, I would be taking the Detroit Lions. So not that I think that they're better than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's got to cover a big number. And 10's a nice one. 10 is in the pantheon of key numbers, 3, 7, 10. That's say it 3 times and it will appear. So I like the 10 points or 9.5 even for the contest. But I'm going to stay away from real life. Where would it tickle my fancy though? If I got up somewhere in the 13.5 range, which is never going to happen, I would consider taking it. If it got down to 6.5, I would take the Bucks. But both of those things are fantasy extremes, and they're not going to happen. So this will be a no bet this week, more than likely. So let's take the Detroit Lions in the contest and move on.
We'll move on to San Fran at Arizona. Arizona 3.5-point favorites at home. 77% of early bettors are on Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I'm going to go with Nick Mullins and the injured 49ers, who opened this year as 7-point favorites. 7-point favorites against Arizona. Now, you could say they were a little overvalued, perhaps, in that game. I liked them that week, though. I really did. I ended up losing in that game. That's 10.5 points different from now until then. Now, there have been a variety of injuries on the defensive line and at quarterback, but I still don't think that – I think this is an overreaction, more or less. Like, this game should be – I really think Arizona -2 is about right. 3.5 is enormous. I think that's a very good value. I said it last week that one of my plays of the week, if not my play of the week, was San Francisco. It's shaping up to be that way again. Didn't get the result last week, but that's okay. We still did all right. I'm going to be taking the San Francisco 49ers because the 3.5 points is that's glosses over the most key number, and that is 3. So I'll take the hook, the 3.5, and I don't have to pay extra juice for it. Don't be paying more than -10, everybody. -105 has become kind of the gold standard because online betting has taken over betting with Fred. So Fred better adjust his prices pretty soon here. So the street bookies -110 is starting to look like robbery, even though -120 was the old price of the old bookies. Believe it or not, people paid -120, even yours truly. Not that often, though. Not that often. Usually, that was a stale line, too. Stale line when I did that. But anyways, try and get it at +3.5, -105. That'd be probably the best thing. Let's go with the Niners here. I like this one considerably.
And just some good news as far as if you want to take this game now. San Fran at Pinnacle, +4, +102. So even better.
Movement.
And if you were betting at FanDuel, you could get the Niners at +4.5. I can't see the juice, but... Nice movements as far as getting a little bit of extra value on the San Francisco 49ers as a contrarian play. And the other thing I'm going to mention, Fat Guy, is that San Fran is 31st this year as far as the percentage of money that's been bet on them, which is quite interesting because Arizona is top 10 for every stat we have. So yep. Arizona is quite a public team this year. San Fran is a team that Sharps and Whales have been betting against. So just an interesting market to take a look at, and you will get a nice price on San Francisco on Saturday. Next up, Miami Dolphins travel to Vegas to take on the Raiders, who are 2.5-point underdogs at home. 19% of early bettors are on the Raiders. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I'm going to be taking the Raiders. In real life, I'm going to wait and try and get a better price. I got to do a little bit of an interlude here. Like I said, there were some... weather power outages with Big Ryan and I, so we have to stick with we do it every Monday night, so we have to act as though we're making the video then, even though it's a few hours late. So some of the lines have fluctuated just a little bit. We need continuity this year, so we're using those prices, even though they may have shifted slightly over this time. And like I said, we're going to be reminding you, but I have to do this preface. We have to be transparent. That's what we do. We're honest about that show, and let's be honest. Showing up with 52.6, it's not like we're some guys who are hitting 70% apparently. I guess that's teasers, so who knows. Anyways, we're going to be going with the Raiders. We're going to be taking the money line if it doesn't hit 3 or eclipse it. I even am interested in an alternate line of Raiders -2.5. We're still experimenting with that, but I don't mind. Like, if they're going to win, I don't. You know what I mean? If I'm going to take the money line, I might as well lay 2.5. You know what I mean? The math hasn't quite lined up, but I got to do a little bit more homework on it. But that does speak to me a little bit more. I do think this will shift, though. I see it going to 3. I really do. Very few people betting on the Raiders. So, like I've been saying lately, if the book wants me to do it a favor, they better make it worth my while. So give me that 3. Give me that 3.5. I'm going to get down on 3. I don't need to bet. There's no incentive to bet right now. Because what's the difference if it moves to 2? Whatever, I don't care. Like, I lost just a tiny bit, whereas the gain that could be making if it moves to 3 is insane, right? It's by insane I mean a few percentage points. But we got to. That's all we can do here is just try and peel the onion, try and skim the coin, just a little bit. So that 3 is a massive number. 3.5 is even better. So I'm going to get down at 3 if I can. 3.5 I will be getting down for sure. So I do like the Raiders this week. Do up, do down too, if we're going to go in that vein. Miami just cruising along, defying expectations at every turn, whereas the Raiders have been of the most disappointing teams the last 3 weeks. I mean, nearly losing to the Jets, the Chargers fiasco, and I'm missing one bad game in between there. I think is Atlanta.
I'm not sure, but
way.
I'll chime in here and say that Miami is 11-3 against the spread on closing lines this year, which is 2 wins better than Buffalo and Washington. So it's unbelievable how good they've been against the spread. Brian Flores, to me, is by far coach of the year, and everything has kind of been just smooth sailing for Miami. The Raiders are 7-7 against the spread this year, so properly rated as their results compared to how the books have rated them. But Miami's got to have some sort of fall from grace, even though I am a big fan of the Dolphins.
Fan of the Dolphins. Look how hot he came in there. Elevated volume. Are you trying to upstage me here, pal? Whatever. We know who does the talking on this show. That being said, Big Rye likes to use ATS as a metric for how well a coach has been performing, and it makes sense. Because think about it, the coach of the year is someone who defies expectations, not necessarily has a lot of success. Like, I understand Andy Reid should be in the running and probably will win, to be honest, because of the success of the Chiefs, but they're slated to do that well. Like, the OU for the Chiefs is, 11.5, Big Ride? Maybe even 12.5. I don't recall.
Yeah, and the Chiefs themselves are 7-7 against the spread, with a lot of public bettors being on them, so it hasn't been a great year for betting the Chiefs every game, as most people do.
Yeah, but that makes sense, right? Whereas the Dolphins just defy expectations. But we believe in regression to the mean, Big Ryan and I. So regression to the mean. But however, though, that's always done through dilution. And when I say that, it means it's over a large sample. It doesn't mean that, they went 11-3, so that means they're going to go, 0-8 the next games to level it out, and then it's a coin flip. It's over a large sample, right? So they're going to finish positive ATS this year, as some will. There's going to be someone on the other side of that, obviously. It'll balance. But they are defying expectations. So that means it's probably each week it gets a little bit harder for the most part, not always. So when you have a team that's on the other end of it, the Raiders aren't necessarily, like Big Rise said, 7-7-1, but they are trending downwards. So bad news is good news, rather. So give me the Raiders if I can get that nice sweet number 3 or 3.5 in the contest. I got to settle for 2.5. Like I said, I take a lot of bum lines in these in the contest, so I still stand by our record. On to the next one.
Next up, the Chicago Bears travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, who are 7.5-point underdogs at home. 19% of early bettors are on the Jags. Fat Guy, who you got?
Okay, here we go. 7.5 points. We'll be going with the Jags. I mean, the Bears looking good. Got a good result against Minnesota. We'll have the sentiment of the public. They'll believe it's a new look Bears, considering the Mitchell Trubisky success, we'll call it. He's been pretty decent.
Resurgence.
Resurgence is a better word. And then the Jags are getting a lot of press from perhaps moving into the top slot. So then people will probably theorize that the Jags aren't going to have good performances because they want Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that's really how it works. 7.5 points, awesome key number. I'll be taking the Jets. Well, most likely we'll be taking the Jets if we haven't already. Plus 7.5 points. It's a good number. Everyone's going to pile on the Bears. I might add to it as it goes on. Jaguars, I mean, we'll call them due up. They've been close in a lot of games, and I don't see why they couldn't against this Bears team. Although this Bears defense is pretty good, but I don't handicap. We just bet numbers here. Well, we can handicap. It's not like we just refuse because we don't want to. It's because believe it or not, betting the market works grinding the market works way better when you put time, the amount of time it takes to accurately handicap and how frustrating it is too. It really weighs on you to figure out what the market is doing and kind of doing the opposite. A lot easier and a lot more interesting. The hard part is picking where the line's going to move. I'm not sure it's going to move. If anything, I think it'll move against the Bears and we'll get more points. But I don't want to risk losing this half point. Like I said, 3, 7, 10, say it 3 times. 7, such a key number. I won't reveal the exact push frequency on it, but it is high. So that half point would be a killer. And it would make me not even want to bet the game, believe it or not, that half point. However, I have it at the moment, so I'll be taking, if I haven't already, the Jacksonville Jags plus 7.5, and I might add to it more later if I was able to get a little bit better of a price. Nothing against the Bears. I think they're a better team. I think they're going to win this game, but I like that threshold that we do have for the Jacksonville Jags.
Next up, the Indianapolis Colts travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, who opened as 3-point favorites, with 37% of bettors are on the Steelers. Fat Guy, who do you like as Steelers as 3-point favorites?
Now, this is what I just mentioned, and important to get lines early on Sunday nights, Monday nights, whenever you can. We have a YouTube membership where we have a Discord channel. It's just $5 Canadian a month, so not even an American cup of coffee, and as they like to say. And we do an early line video every Sunday evening. And I did preach that you should take the Colts plus 3, considering that there could be a recency bias if the Steelers do in fact lose or sustain an injury. Now, they didn't sustain a big injury, a key injury, or a cluster of injuries rather. They did lose, and that did generate recency bias, and it did generate a line movement. This line is now Pittsburgh -2. So
no, Indy -2.
Indy -2. It moved 5 points. I thought you said it moved.
Did. No,
what?
Indy -2 is the current line at Pinnacle. -2, -105 on both sides for Indy.
Okay, sorry. I thought it moved 1, and I was going to explain to you the importance of that, because Indy +3 to Indy +2 is enormous difference. Indy +3 to Indy -2. Are we joking? So in real life, that will be a Steelers play. In the contest, we have the number 3 because that's what I had last night. That's what I got last night, was Indy +3. However, there might be a rumbling on perhaps a middling play now. I didn't know it was that much. So, and I'll probably end up taking the Steelers in real life. So the contest is going to be 3 points, but this is what line shopping early really, really means. Because if it's Indy -2 now, whoo, we're going to get a good price on the Steelers. And then if we get a Steelers win by 1, 2, or 3, I'll either win one bet and tie another, or win them both. And I quite like the prospects of that, because this should be a tighter game. Wow, good news, Big Rye. Thank you, Santa. I'm going to get a shot at this. So shop early, everybody, and try and use the ideas of what could happen as a guideline if you're going to bet a game before one team is played. And this is amazing to me too. Talk about a real overreaction. So, like I said, I think 3 is a great price for Indy. I wouldn't have liked Indy at Indy +2, but Indy +3 I quite like. But Pittsburgh -2, Indy -2. It's a 5-point swing. What changed in one evening? Do you know what I mean? Do you think the Steelers got that much worse because you saw them lose?
They failed the eye test yesterday. That's what happened.
Yeah, but it's just one game. Do you understand? And then they're going to go,
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's why the public is overreacting, and we get to benefit on the overreactions of the public viewing that game. All of the Joes at home figured out yesterday that the Steelers are bad, and Roethlisberger's washed up, and they're the worst team in the NFL. So we're loving it. We've got huge smiles on our face, like you can't even wipe the smile off either of our faces. This is excellent value now on the Steelers as 2-point underdogs at home, but the middling play would be even sweeter. It's like a 15% gap of being able to win 2 bets if you wanted to.
It's fantastic. I do want to add one more thing. So, okay, maybe, all right, it's not one game, it's 3 games. They lost 3 in a row. But you understand that, like, when we spoke about regression to the mean with Miami, they were the most covering team in the league. ATS is the Steelers, because they were riding high. They were exceeding expectations. They were playing, and they had results above expectation. They were 11-0, right? And then not only didn't cover, they lost 3 in a row. and I think they were favorites in all of them. Although I don't know Buffalo. Buffalo had switched. Yeah, much like this one. Anyways, it's the Steelers. The Steelers are regressing to the mean, but they're just doing it in more devastating fashion, right? Much like Miami probably will, just not as maybe not as bad. I think there's value on the Steelers now at +2 or alternate line of -2.5. So I'll be taking that in real life. I already have the Colts at 3. I mentioned that, so that's why you gotta if you can't make these early line decisions for your own, jump on the membership. We'll have them out every Sunday night. And this is one I felt really, really good about. And look, came to fruition. On to the next one.
Next up, Giants at Ravens. Ravens 10.5-point favorites at home. 58% of early bettors are on the Ravens. Fat guy, who you got?
How can you not like the Giants here too? Again, and then I hear a lot of this stuff. Oh, if it's points, he'll take them. Yeah, I will. 10.5, double-digit dog. If I'm a sucker, I don't. Make me a sucker with 10.5. I'm fine with that. These are two like I liked how the Giants played, believe it or not, against Cleveland. They passed the eye test for me. There were a lot of things that didn't go their way, and that game could have easily been covered, I feel like. And it gave me confidence. And they're still playing for a playoff spot. So if you guys want to use that sort of, whatever mentality, they're very much in this as well. Baltimore, so, same thing. So I see this as a competitive game. 10.5 points is too many. Is Baltimore better than New York Giants? Absolutely. However, 10.5 is a big number, and it has a hook over the number 10, which is probably the most likely result is Baltimore by 10, I would say. Even maybe Baltimore by 7. Either way, I'm going to gloss over those key numbers. This is I really love this game. I like this game maybe more than even the San Francisco 49ers. Give me the Giants. Give me the 10.5 points.
Next up, the Carolina Panthers travel to Washington to take on the football team, who are 2.5-point favorites at home. 67% of early bettors are on Washington. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, we're going to go with Carolina. Now, I don't know if this is moved considering Dwayne Haskins could get suspended, considering his strip club shenanigans on Sunday night and lack of virus protocol or whatever. I mean, I say, let wild horses run, but that's not up to me, right? So there is a chance that there could be some sort of quarterback improprieties, let's say. And I'm not sure who would be the next man up if Alex Smith is not able to go, which makes it a little bit worrisome. All of that being said, the line last night was 2.5. We had selected the Carolina Panthers 2.5. We're not trying to do it, recidivist. We had a power issue. I'll hammer it home one more time. So that's what we're going to go with. Carolina -2.5. This was really a coin flip for me. I need a big ride to kind of lean me one way or another. We're going to go with Carolina. It's not much to it. I like both teams. I'm biased to both teams. Both teams have been profitable for me this year. I'm just going to be more excited about watching this game more or less, and I hope Alex Smith plays.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke would be the backup for Washington if Alex Smith and Dwayne Haskins can't play. And the line has only moved half a point. We have it right now at Washington -2, so it hasn't affected the line as much. 2.5 to 2 is not a big line movement at all. So interesting things to throw in there, and the public still likes Washington despite the news today. On to the next one, Fat Guy, where the Atlanta Falcons travel to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Chiefs 10.5-point favorites at home. 52% of early bettors are on the Chiefs. Who you got?
Wow. When we're talking about, if I'm going to be a sucker, but I'm a double-digit dog sucker, I'm okay with it. And here it is again. This is a bum line. I think it did inch up, I believe, this morning when I did take a seminary glance at this line. And I think it was 11 or 12, Big Rye?
Yeah, it's currently at 10.5, so it's come back. But Chiefs -10.5, -110. So you can get the Falcons at even money at Pinnacle at +10.5.
Oh, I'll be doing that. I will be doing that as soon as this broadcast concludes. So Falcons 10.5. That's a nice number. Even money. You know me. That means we only need a win rate of 50%, and I think I can get that betting this game, right? Because you don't think of it as one game. Think of this as as a career of games, and then you're going to want to add all those up, and then you're going to come up with whether you won or lost. It's never won or lost on one game. You're betting volume here, ladies and gentlemen. You're betting volume, more like lady and gentlemen. I don't know if you looked at our YouTube analytics lately, Big Rye. Not looking good on the gender scale. Regardless, we'll be taking the Atlanta Falcons plus 10.5. Glosses over the key number of 10. That is a good number. I would consider the Chiefs at -7. I would take the Chiefs at -7. But I know that's a big range. You know what I mean? But I need incentive. I need incentive to lay points, and that's what I would need. At 10.5, I think that's a nice line for Atlanta. 10.5 even money. I would suggest buying now, everybody. Especially because if it went up and came back down, that earmarks a resistance point. So that means pros like it right now. So I hope it's still up there when this is off. I think Atlanta is a nice play here at 10.5 points.
Next up, the Cleveland Browns travel to New York to take on the Red Hot Jets, who are 10-point underdogs at home. 8% of early bettors are on the Jets. Fat Guy, who you got?
I don't care about this game. I mean, I'd like Cleveland to win just because I'd like them to try and maybe win the division. Because a win here and a Pittsburgh loss, and then we got a showdown. We got a showdown for the division. I'm not sure how the tiebreaker works between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, but I'd really like the Browns to win the division. I got my Browns hat on, and I even wore my lucky shirt. This shirt, I got the first day I wore it. I was helping my parents paint, and I purposely got white paint on it. And much to the chagrin of my mom, she says, "You can't do that to a new shirt." Well, I did, and it's become the lucky shirt. Playing poker in it and wearing a high-vis vest, looking like a construction worker. Not that I've ever actually done any labor in my life. Look at me. So we're going to be going with Cleveland in this pick, purely a contest pick. Just for the fun of it, because I want Cleveland to win the division. 10 points, probably too many. When in doubt, I usually take the points. I'm just going to go double secret contrarian, as Dean Wormer would say in Animal House. Of course, affixed a little bit that phrasing. But I'm going to go with Cleveland because I want them to win. I don't like this game. There's no way you could get me to bet on it, to be honest. I don't know where I'd like the numbers. Actually, okay, there is. I say that, and then you go Cleveland -7. Yeah, I'd probably take Cleveland. Jets plus 14. I'd take the Jets. I need a lot, though, to bet on either side. I don't like this game. Jets, of course, blowing expectations, blowing minds, showing that anybody can win, beating a very strong Rams team. The Rams are no slouches here. And I like where this Rams market is heading because I think they're a really good team, and I think they might be the best team in their conference. So, I mean, I'm going to be getting a good price, I imagine, because this stain of this Jets loss, I don't know if you can shake it, Big Rye. I don't know if you can. So the bias is to be like, they lost it because this is people like having the mic drop closing arguments. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And people like arguing about sports. And this will be the biggest one. They lost to the Jets. They did. Perfect. Bad news is good news. I'm going to be liking them going forward. As far as this game goes, it's a fun one. I'm going to just go the other way. I'm going to go against myself even, and I'm just going to take the Cleveland Browns. Why not? We're going to go square on this one, I guess, and we're going to take Cleveland. It's purely a contest pick, purely.
Next up, the Bengals travel to Houston to take on the Texans, who are 9-point favorites at home. 62% of early bettors are on the Houston Texans as the last early day game.
Did we get a line shift on this one too, Big Rye?
Let's take a look. We've got it's listed. The line has actually been taken down at Pinnacle, and we do have 8.5 or 8. So the line has moved in the Bengals' favor after their impressive win over the Steelers last night.
Now, this is what I also said on the membership video on opening lines. If you are able to get money down, I would get money down on the Cincinnati Bengals, because if the Bengals get an injury, there aren't any positions where a key injury could hurt them. There are cluster injuries, but realistically, if they hurt one of their offensive linemen, what difference does it make? He's a replacement level player anyways, for the most part. If they hurt their quarterback, fine, then Kevin Hogan's going to play. Like it's not like you're not losing a ton of value. It's not like going from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love in theory. You know what I mean? So it's not like A key injury can't hurt them. However, a good performance can hurt them in regards to recency bias. So you do want to get more points. And sure enough, they had a really good performance. And I see this line climbing down. It's not too much between 9 and 8. I got to be honest, because 9 and 8 aren't exactly key numbers. 9 more key than 8. However, 8 obviously climbing a little bit considering the new Pat rules of the last few years. But I do think 9 is too many. I do think 8 is too many. Take the Cincinnati Bengals. Take them before it gets below 7.5 because you're probably at equilibrium at Houston -7 because it makes sense. Houston -7 probably means a win for the books regardless of what side you buy on. And you're going to say, how can the book win if both teams get bet? Like one team's going to win, one team's going to lose. Yes, but it's never just one game. We're thinking large sample. So over a ton of samples of this similar scenario, and this line was the book Houston -7. The amount of money they would make on commission on both sides would net them a profit in this spot on both sides. So it's not really a bet, I believe. This is what I believe at the number 7. At 6.5, I'd be interested in the Houston Texans. So all of that being said, I think Cincinnati's a buy right now. I like them in the contest. So let's take Cincinnati in the points.
Let's move on to the midday games. We'll start off with the Denver Broncos traveling to LA to take on the Chargers, who are 3.5-point favorites at home. 58% of early bettors are on the Chargers. Fat guy, who you got?
Oh, this is another one. They're like, this has been a layup for some of these. I really like the Broncos. 3.5, great number. Please buy it if you can. Is it still up 3.5, Big Rye?
It sure is.
There we go.
Plus 3.5 at -115 though for the Broncos.
See, you missed it. Now that's the thing. -115. I still like it at this price, to be honest. But I believe it had a better price earlier in the week. So Broncos plus 3.5 is definitely going to be a play. I've already made it. On Sunday night. I think this is a good spot. It's a divisional game. Are the Chargers 3.5 points better than the current Broncos? I don't think so. This feels like a LAC -2.5. So there is some value here, considerable value between 2.5 and the number 3.5, considering the amount of times the result would end in 3. That half point is a huge, huge difference. Take Denver Broncos, take the points. Contest, real life, already booked.
Next up, Rams, Seahawks. Seahawks 2.5-point favorites at home. 54% of early bettors are on Seattle. Fat guy, who you got?
I think this is a pick 'em. This is an easy Rams play. I'm not going to be betting it real life yet, though. Can I get 3? Was there any movement between last night and today, Big Ray?
It's moved in the Rams' favor, so it's Rams plus 1.5.
Wow. This is called reverse line movement, ladies and gentlemen. Reverse line movement. So let me explain exactly how that works. So the Rams don't have as much support as the Seahawks. So think about it this way. You got a commodity. You got bananas and oranges, let's say. If people are buying oranges more, but then you're going to increase the price of bananas, it doesn't make sense. Like, even if say they're a mutual good, you know what I mean? If you have demand for one thing over the other and they're competing products, why are you increasing the price of the inferior selling good, the Rams? It doesn't make sense. It's because they know something. Somebody knows something. That means somebody big bet on the Rams. Someone who knows more than us. Because remember when I said handicapping, how difficult it is? There are guys out there that are very, very good at this, and they are able to beat NFL. And by the way, NFL is the hardest market to beat. Probably out of all of North American sports. So if there's a guy out there betting a lot of money on the Rams, chances are he's got positive expected value. Chances are over a long run, it's the right play. And I'm going to have to agree. Reverse lineman at 2, I'm a little bit scared. I'm going to be taking the Rams money line, to be honest. Rams just to win, because I think Rams with positive money is a positive play, because it should be a coin flip game, regardless of it being in Seattle. Does that even really mean anything anymore? So I'm going to be taking the Rams. I'm going to be taking them to win in real life. Maybe even alternate line of Rams -2.5 with that reverse line movement. Woo! It makes me like them even more. Rams easily in the contest. Rams in real life. I do want 3, though. So I'm going to bet them to get plus money, considering this reverse line movement just happened. But if it does, there could be some buyback, because not all handicappers, all the good handicappers don't, put in a Google sheet like Booger McFarlane and Susie Colbert and talk about which one they like and at what price. It's not how it works. There's a market, right? So there might be some that like the Seahawks, but chances are somebody big or in conjunction, a cluster of players. I like that word these days, cluster of strong handicappers have taken the Rams. So I'm gonna bet them right now. I was gonna wait till 3, but I will. Like I said, if there's buyback on Seattle, I'll be taking them at 3, the Rams. And part of it's too because there's going to be a lot of public dollars on Seattle. Seattle is a popular team to bet on. Where they rank in public betting? Give me the stats on public betting in regards to Seattle Seahawks, please, Big Ry.
For number of bets, Seattle is 4th. For percentage of bets, they are 7th. And for percentage of money, they are 3rd. So Seattle, a very, very popular team to bet on for the public.
Who could look more unpopular right now? Them or the Rams? The Rams by a mile. They have that just like endless black eye from losing to the New York Jets. So I expect public money to flow on Seattle, thus driving the price up. Unless these sharps keep hammering the Rams to keep this number down. Let me get to 3, boys. Let me get to 3. Let me get to 3.5. Let me be greedy. So I'll be taking the Rams to win right now, and I'm going to add to it if I get a little bit of help in the spread movement department.
Fat Guy, next up, the Eagles travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, who are 1-point underdogs at home. At home, 17% of early bettors are on the Cowboys. Fat Guy, who you got?
We're going to go with Philadelphia. I know it's 83%, but this is an early market, like we had mentioned. This is a nothing game for me. I'm not as super interested in it as far as a market perspective. I do think the Eagles are better. I'm just going to go with that. I'm not actually going to be betting it, though. There are plenty of good opportunities. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the bankroll, considering how big I'm going to go on some of these games. No, don't actually do that. I'm being hyperbolic. Big Rye's got to drink some water down because he's got doing a lot of talking. It's rough on the throat. So I'll be taking in the contest of Philadelphia Eagles. I don't love this market, and I'm not really sure which way it could go. Considering it's like at -1, it's not going to go to 3 on either side. So either side's not going to be super attractive. You bet the number, not the team. And this number it's not lovely in one way or another. I just don't feel that way. I think there will be some Dallas money, so perhaps you could get a better better line on Philadelphia. But it's a lukewarm game for me, much like the Cleveland New York Jets game. I just don't have feelings one way or another about it.
So interesting market change today is that the Eagles are now -2, -112. So it's creeping up towards 3, but still a long ways to go before that line actually moves to 3. But it's something interesting to see. It looks like they're trying to move the Eagles up a little bit higher to encourage more bettors to take Dallas to probably split this up more 50-50. So if you got on the Eagles at -1, nice job. Not a ton of extra value, but just as far as we're concerned, you're still on the right side of a line movement. So kudos if you managed to get down on the Eagles early.
And the juice. That adds an extra 1.5% as well. So now he's saying it moved to 2 with bad juice for the Eagles. So there's a chance at 3. It's a really low one. I think. So does Big Rye. But 3 is where I'm going to consider Dallas. I'll tell you that much. So Dallas perhaps at 3, but in the contest we'll be taking the Eagles. -1's a good line, I'm finding out. So I made that selection last evening. So I'm glad it's working out.
Next up, Sunday Night Football, Tennessee at Green Bay. Green Bay 3.5-point favorites at Lambeau. 28% of early bettors are on the Packers. Fat Guy, who you got?
Again, we keep talking about key numbers. I'm trying to not educate our audience necessarily. It sounds a little patronizing. I'm trying to enhance the knowledge. Any euphemism you use, I want you guys to know about key numbers. 3 being 1, and that hook, that works for me. I like Tennessee. The hook is a half point. It's a little gambling jargon, if you ever hear someone say it. Buying the hook means paying extra juice. I don't like doing that. I just want it regular at -105. I don't want to pay -115 as you're often held to. Tennessee plus 3.5. This is where I like it. Most early bettors are on Tennessee. I can kind of understand why, but the public does seem to like Green Bay though, Big Right?
Well, for this game, only 28% of bettors are on the Packers, but overall, if you're talking about the betting analytics, They are number 1 as far as percentage of bets, number 2 percentage of money, and number 5 for total number of bets. So people love taking the Packers. As far as Tennessee is concerned, it's kind of all over. Surprising enough for Tennessee, the number of bets is 28th. So they're actually one of the least bet teams number-wise, and that's probably more to do with when they've played their games more than anything. 10th as far as bet percentage, 5th as far as money percentage. So people still are betting Tennessee as far as like sharps are concerned and the public. It's just the number of bets is more schedule related.
Yeah, so like I said, but don't forget, this is also a Sunday nighter, so I could see more money, public money flowing on Green Bay. I think pro money is going to be on Tennessee as long as the number 3.5 is in play.
And on to Monday Night Football, where the Buffalo Bills travel to New England to take on the Patriots, who are 7-point underdogs at home. 21% of early bettors are on the Patriots, and this line has creeped up to 7.5, but really bad juice on the Pats. I think it's like minus 121, somewhere around there.
I'd rather just take 7 at good juice, but that is a good sign because I really want 7.5 in real life. That's what I want. And I think this line was at 6.5 originally when it opened. I do like New England Patriots, and I do want the 7.5 points in real life. The market does seem to be trending in that direction. I'm not paying minus 121 juice because you have to win at a much higher win rate than you would at minus 105. You're going to pay 3 times the amount of commission. It doesn't make sense. Let's make it into a typical thing. It's like paying 3 times the amount of sales tax on something. You know what I mean? It's really what it is, assuming that you have sales tax in your state or province. I'm just going to cover Canada and the U.S. The rest of you guys, you know the drill. You're forgotten of in the football realm. But that being said, as if Canada makes a difference.
Yeah,
we're Canadian, though. We got to throw it a bone. Yeah, like who really cares? Anyways, just annex us already, realistically. Anyways, I like New England Patriots. I want to get it at plus 7.5 at minus 105. That would be a big strike point for me. I'm probably going to get down at 7 with good juice, but I really want that extra half point. So there's no reason you can't add to it if it does move in their direction. Why do I like New England at 7? Because I don't think this is a 7-point game. I think this game's a little bit closer than that, and those are key numbers. Like I said, 10, 7, 3, say it 3 times, and 7 is just one of the most key numbers because games end in a touchdown. Very simple. And so here, think about it this way. If I get Patriots at 7, I get a push, so I get a tie at the number 7. All other low results, I'm going to get a win. If the Bills are able to blow out, I take a loss. I like my chances. These are very, very micro percentages, but that's all that matters. And like I said, we bet the number, not the team. Would I take the Bills if they were 7-point underdogs? You bet. You bet I would, and I would unload the clip. I'd make the biggest bet I made of the year because it's not that I like the Patriots over the Bills. I like the Patriots with the number 7 intertwined. It's the number. It's always the number. And we're going to finish strong with the New England Patriots, hopefully. And the number 7.
All right, if I go into the lightning round, Minnesota at New Orleans.
Minnesota Vikings.
Tampa Bay at Detroit.
Detroit Lions.
San Fran at Arizona.
San Francisco 49ers.
Dolphins Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Bears Jags.
The new number 1 pick, Jacksonville Jags.
Colts Steelers.
Indianapolis Colts at 3. In real life, it will be the Steelers if I get a good price, which I could at 3 or money line.
Giants Ravens.
I love the New York Giants.
Panthers versus the Washington football team.
We'll just go for, contest related for fun, Carolina.
Atlanta Falcons at Kansas City Chiefs.
Key number, Atlanta Falcons.
Cleveland Browns at the New York Jets.
Another fun one just for the contest, Cleveland Browns.
The red hot, steaming hot Cincinnati Bengals at the Houston Texans.
Not like a Cleveland steamer, the Cincinnati steamer, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers.
Great key number, Denver Broncos.
LA Rams at Seattle.
Reverse line movement Rams.
Eagles Cowboys in an NFC East showdown.
Philadelphia Eagles currently.
5-star entertainment, Tennessee Titans at the Green Bay Packers.
Another key number, Tennessee Titans.
Bills Pats on Monday night.
10-7-3, say it 3 times. New England Patriots +7.
All right, fat guy. On to the 2020 Week 15 winner, who is Mad Capper at 12-4. Was with us for the live stream to see his win go through, and congrats to him. He did beat Weiss picks. Sorry if I don't know how to pronounce that correctly.
Every time?
I don't know. It's a real roll of the dice if I'm going to get anything right when it comes to pronunciations. And
we like gambling.
I sure do. Mad Capper is 12-4. He hits the tiebreaker with the OU. He had, I think, 37-47. The OU hits at 44. So congrats to Mad Capper. He wins the T-shirt, the sweatshirt. I think this is Mad Capper's second win of the year. So we have to get creative when it comes to multi-winning weeks in one season.
You guys got to stop winning sweatshirts, because I gave out T-shirts and I'm replacing with sweatshirts. This is busting me up worse than any gambling thing I've ever done. I'm like losing $40 on coin flips every time. Anyways.
And then let's move on to the overall leaderboard. Cassone still at the number 1 spot with 135 wins.
Oh.
Jackson's creeping up, though. Dublin Guinness at 127. Mad Capper, the two wins this year at 126. We also
they could catch him.
They could.
Wow.
It's technically possible. Satuple Billy 369, Flea Bit, Peanut Monkey, Show Me Your Touchdowns, Mickey, Cash Only No Checks, aka Jive Turkey, Fat Guy. You and I are at 114 wins, so there is a chance that we could crack the top 10 by the time this is all said and done.
That would be nice. Yeah, I'd like to crack the top 10. That'd be good of our own contest. You guys get to get stale lines, though. You get to bet this on Thursday evening, and on this week, you get to bet it on Friday evening. And if you were really savvy, it might be good just to forego the early Thursday game and go right for everything on Sunday. I wonder if that's a strategy anyone will employ next week. Giving a game, but perhaps giving them an edge because of stale lines on Sundays. So congratulations, everyone, though. Everyone here would beat the juice. 53% and up. Those are healthy. Healthy profit is 55 and above. You would have made some money this year if you bet every game. Probably wouldn't, but you would have done okay. And this is nice. This is feel good about the top of our contest.
All right, Fat Guy. On to the JS715 and name of the week honorable mentions.
I got a soft entry point for you. Sounds very. It sounds like Angels with Dirty Faces, or part 2, pending on it. We'll be watching Home Alone probably in my jammies later this evening. What's that, Snell? Oh yeah, I farted. I haven't heard that one yet. It's not the greatest, but we'll take it. Bring back Blair Walsh. I think this has something to do with with the Dan Bailey performances as of late. And not everything has to be crude or insulting. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. I'm pretty sure that's from It's a Wonderful Life, a song in that. I'm the pop culture guy, I guess, only because Big Rye has literally seen probably 12 movies in his entire life. So I guess one of us. And then Billy Walters, thank you for joining our contest. Although, suspiciously, I didn't see him near the top of the list. Huh. Not a good year for Billy. Maybe he doesn't have to burn his trash anymore, eh? Man, I badly want to win that Big Ryan the Fat Guy t-shirt. You're going to have to keep trying, but I do like the attempt. I do like it. Dan Bailey owes me money. I know who that is, and I know what game he's referring to. Of course, Dan Bailey missing out on, I think, 9 or 10 points for the Vikings against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Beat the juice out, or bust 2020. I think we all know where that went, what lane it went in. So, it fits in the top 10. Or top whatever this is. It is an honorable mention, but it's not going to make name of the week. Speaking of name of the week.
This is the JS715 name of the week. Whoa, kaboom!
Thank you, Tim Kitzrow. Dollars over my emotions. Love it. Love it. New email. Haven't seen this one win name of the week, but it's short and simple. And I've really trying to be more serious, less jokey, or maybe just as jokey, but with more serious points. Dollars over emotions is very important. My team's the Browns. Do I bet on them? Yeah, if I think there's value. Do I bet against them all the time? Doesn't matter. Do the Browns care about me? No. I'm about to go into a rant what's that movie? Chaz Palminteri, A Bronx Story. There you go. Does Mickey Mantle know you or care about you? No. Browns don't know me. Browns don't care about me. I care about my money. I need to eat. Look at the size of me. How are you supposed to keep this bulbous frame up? So we're going to go with dollars over my emotions because of how true it is. Topical and true. Let's roll.
Remember, you can make your picks for Week 16 at BigRyanTheFatGuy.com. There's a $100 prize for most regular season wins, so 2 more weeks left. Fat Guy, that is
Hold on. So go back a slide. I heard a comment. Some guy wrote a whole $100. Listen, we're not exactly making millions here doing YouTube videos, just so you know. $100, pretty good. It's a free contest. You don't have to do anything. I'm gonna give it to the winner. $100. It's nothing. It's something. It's everything. We don't exactly we're not crushing it here. Okay, we're doing well. We're doing okay. But you get what we take you. All right, jerk.
All right, that's the NFL Week 16 picks against the spread video for the 2020 NFL season. Fat Guy, you really throwing me under the bus there, saying I don't watch a lot of movies. Easily the best one I've ever seen, though. Barrack's Buddies 2.
Oh, did you see Dashing in December? That was also good. I think Wyatt did save the ranch.
It was a tasty treat. And also, I'm trying to figure out how long it's going to take for me to stand in this or sit in this position to look like Larry King, because I want to know what you got to do to get your shoulders above your ears, but I'm getting really damn close without aging either. So, yeah, you've got it going on there. I think this video has run its course.